This is the place where I responded to God's calling, but it's also the place where God called me Sunday after Sunday as I sat in the back and talked and, couldn't stay still, but God spoke to me somehow back on those back pews. After God called me, I'll never forget one night we had this kind of prayer group with all of the youth. I was a senior in high school, and I was telling them about my call to ministry. And I said, it was amazing. I said, I knew that God called me, and I said, and I just told them I couldn't do it because I was too young. I was just a youth. And I opened my Bible up, and I walked to the front pew, and I got a Bible out. And I said, and I just opened my Bible up like this, and it opened right up to where I had opened it at home when I had heard God's voice. And it's from Jeremiah 1, and it says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations." And I said, "Oh, Lord God, I don't know how to speak. I'm only a youth." But the Lord said to me, "Do not say I'm only a youth. You must go to everyone I send you to and say whatever I command you. Do not be afraid of them, for I am with you and will rescue you, declares the Lord." And then the Lord reached out his hand and he touched my mouth and said to me, "Now I have put my words into your mouth. See, today I appoint you over the nations and kingdoms to uproot and tear down, to destroy and overthrow, to build and to plant." Those words have been words that have been part of who I am from the moment that I read them. Because for me, it was like God wrote those words just for me. And there are times where I lose sight of that because I get bogged down in things. The first Sunday that we pulled up at Red Hill, it was just a beautiful June day. And, Donna and I had been married less than a month. I had just been ordained a deacon, and we had no concept of what was going to happen. In fact, all I could think about was sharing the good news of Jesus, and I had no concept of what it was to be a pastor. And when I had to do my first funeral, I about flipped. But I did my first funeral over in the cemetery right over there, and I was sweating bullets. I thought about telling everybody about God, but I never dreamed about all the other responsibilities that came along with it. And as the years have come and gone, I've realized how much more that I really don't know, that I'm still growing. But it all started here. As newlyweds and new to the ministry, we walked through Unity. It was a church that we rushed back from Red Hill to get to every Sunday morning. And right here between the two buildings is where I did my first sunrise service, and I first became acquainted with the concept of trying to figure out when the sun actually came up. And the first one I ever did, there was no sun, it was raining, and we just listened to the roosters crow, and so it kind of changed my message. But this is the church that we would come, and there would be 10 people, and that included Donna and I both in that count. So part of the foundation, it was like you'd walk into that door, they would wait till I finished with the other church, and when I'd walk in the door, it was almost like you turned the light on and everybody kind of came to life, and the piano started to play, and we grew a whole bunch here. And I tell you, when we left here, it broke our hearts to leave both these two churches, because we'd only been here for a year, and they actually had a first anniversary party for us, and it was our going away party too. Just really kind of a sad but good time. And I remember crying halfway to Knoxville on the way to the next appointment. And then from then I got a little more excited, but at that point I was just kind of really sad. We drug our heels packing because it was just like a kind of a first love kind of thing. This is Beulah. It's a place that I grew to love and spend 7.5 years here. This is the place where Elizabeth was born. It's a place that is very dear to me because it was my first full-time appointment. And many things happened inside these doors, and many things happened in the way of weddings and just good times and struggles and prayer. And but it was a place that changed my life. And I'll never forget getting sent to St. Luke. I didn't want to come. I cried. I struggled. I'd been at the other church for 7.5 years, and I just thought life was over. And 1 month from the day that I found out that I was going to move, I got here, and had some of the most productive times in my ministry. And another cool thing is this is where Arlie got added to the story. I'll never forget the night that we snuck into here when I found out I was coming to this church, and it was so intimidating but so cool to see this place. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that when I stood in this pulpit for the first time, I preached to more people in that one Sunday than I preached to in the entire first year of my ministry. My knees quaked, my heart was fluttering, and I didn't know how to do it. But it was a precious day for me, and this time at this place was a precious time in my life. Wow. When I came to Lighthouse, totally different picture. Didn't have a building to go look at. Showed up and was shown a trailer, told that I needed to get a truck to haul that trailer, and didn't even dream of, well, dreamed, but didn't think it was very feasible to have property at that point because we kept trying and couldn't find it. But finally we found this property, and over 7 years, from being in a school to being in 2 warehouses to finally being out here on this beautiful piece of property, God sure has blessed us and expanded my vision in so many ways. Used me and used Lighthouse to help form me, and just showed me what God can do in a new situation, a situation that's not been there for a long time. And it's just been a powerful time in my life. Boy, I've been amazed to see how God's used me. I never dreamed it. I still have all those hesitancies that, you know, I can't do it, God, I'm too young. I can't do it, God, I'm too fat. I can't do it, God, I'm too old. I can't do it, God, I'm not smart enough. I can't do it, God. It's amazing what God does when we get quiet with why we can't do it and just say, God, I can do it because you're with me. And so as I've done this kind of look back at my ministry, it's really helped me to know that there's a future and a hope for me, for my family, for Lighthouse. And I wouldn't trade the time that we've had together for the world. But in June, there's gonna be a new leader at Lighthouse, and I'm excited about that for you guys. He'll bring a momentum and a new spirit, and it's going to be good. My family will begin to serve in another appointment, which is just part of the Methodist way. That's kind of something you got to kind of get used to. But God sure has used that way throughout my life to put me in places that I never expected to go and never expected maybe even to be successful in, but I have been. So we're going to celebrate and we're going to enjoy these last few months together. But we're also going to prepare the way for someone who's going to follow me to carry on the Lighthouse vision.